So this is first episode of Visions to Ventures. I have Eric Negrete here. He owns his own small business, and we just want to bring him in so he can go ahead and share some of his, information about his business, how he got to his business, and what tips and advice he can give to someone who hasn't started or has started but they don't know exactly where to go. So, Eric Negrete, tell us about your business.
So I own a small detailing business here in Utah. It's Steven Auto Spas. It's just still our first year, but still going strong.
Okay. And so your first year, do you have any employees? Is it just you or?
I have a few part-time employees, but I mainly do it myself.
Okay.
Just because I like to do it on my spare time, and I don't like to just send people. I want to be there to manage it myself because it's my business.
Okay.
And make sure that the quality that we put out there is right.
It's good. Yeah. And so I'm going to start off. So what inspired you to start your business?
So what inspired me was I want to be able to do my own thing and not necessarily be stuck behind a desk all day.
Mm-hmm.
And detailing lets me do that and be out there, see cool cars. And that's always one thing that I've liked is like R8s, supercars, those types of things. And to be able to detail them and sit inside one is a cool feeling for sure. Okay.
And so far, what cool cars have you seen? What have you worked on, or what's kind of more of that you like better? Is it trucks, sedans, or just all of the above? Just anything that comes towards you?
Honestly, anything. Probably the coolest car we've done is a GT500. It was a 2012, and it was a pretty cool car. Super loud, but it was a hell of a car. Trucks are a pain in the ass, but that's all right.
You yourself own a truck, right? So you just you're able to just clean your car whenever you feel like, instead of spending some money. So when you as starting it, did you feel like there was was there a big challenge before setting it up, or deciding, coming to that vision? It's I want to start this detailing. Did you have prior experience, or was it just that you're just hey, besides being your own boss and stuff like that, it's pointed that direction? You're okay, I love cleaning my own car. My car's been clean, or I'm pretty sure you kept your car clean, right?
Yeah, always.
So it's always been like that. So it's so that's what made you want to be hey, because I can say I can keep my house clean, but the car is just with kids and stuff. It's just totally different. So what were the biggest challenges up to that point where you decided, you opening your business, and then also any challenges now that you have opened your business?
Well, like you said, I've always kept my cars clean. Mm-hmm. And the biggest challenge was, seeing the competition and the type of market we have, especially here in Utah, because the weather is all crazy all the time. So that's definitely one challenge. And like I said, the competition. There's so many detailers out there, and we have to be bold and different than everybody else. Because if we're just all the same, then what makes me special compared to the other detailers,
Correct. Yeah. And that's, I feel like it's with Utah, there's I'm not as much as you can see landscapers. There's tons of business, right? So that market, getting into that market is more difficult. Getting into the detailing, I'm sure there's some. I'm sure there's a lot, but I guess you now being in that position, you see more detailing companies out there. And for me, it was well, I don't really get my car detailed, so I wouldn't really know, But so what something that you could say that's unique that you bring? Is it your customer service? Is it just the way you are with your employees? So what kind of you feel makes it unique or different?
I feel like our commitment. A lot of detailers are oh yeah, we'll come out to detail your car, but a lot don't show up. So I feel like our commitment and our integrity. We're there when we say we're going to be there, and we do the job that we're told to do. And especially some detailers will be all right, we're done. We're going to head out, and don't go over the car with the customer. That's one thing we do, is to make sure to go over the car to make sure that there's nothing that we missed, and there's nothing that essentially that they didn't see wrong with the car.
Yeah. So that's good. I never would have thought hey, I have to, I feel like I would just take it somewhere, get it clean and be like, okay, I'm sure it's clean, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think the closest I got into having my car clean inside is this car place in Sandy where I think it's Freddy something.
Oh.
But it's not detailed, right? Because
Yeah.
they just barely go over it, but it's better than what I would do, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's something interesting to know, that getting my car detailed, knowing like, hey, there's a, you know, I don't know if it's pre-inspection, but like, you know, knowing, hey, my car's dirty. And then at the end, like, hey, you know, we were able to clean this. And also if there's some, you know, I'm not going to say like, hey, you have to make miracles happen and take a stain that's like years old or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But knowing like, hey, we tried our best, or, you know, we went over this and we use this type of solution or whatever it might be. I feel like that's something that would be good to know and benefit for the customer and the client, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to make a car look brand new, like how it came from the factory. We try our best, especially like with pet hair stains. Some things are just too hard to get out.
Mm-hmm.
People have stained bleach in their cars, so that's a tough one. Like there's nothing that we can do about that. We can always try our best, but there's certain things that are too hard either to get out, or we spend hours and there's not much we can do about it. But we definitely try our best, and we don't just leave it there and be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. With the talking about you know, I'm sure with your employees, do you sometimes feel like, are you trying to want them to either get so good and start their own business, or what's your kind of like plan behind that? Like, do you want to just them continue to working for you and being able to, you know, I mean, because I'm not sure exactly where your, you know, your vision for your company. Like, do you want it to be more, not just whatever areas you service now, be more out there, have a location? Because right now you do mobile, right? But you also do some at your house, or is it just mobile?
We do both. So if you feel like, okay, I don't want to do it at my house, I don't want to deal with, you know, like if you have a muddy car or anything and you don't want to deal with it, we'll take it, we'll detail it for you, or we can always just come to you. So we do both. But my like dream for that is to essentially get my own shop, and then from there venture out either more counties or more states. Just kind of go anywhere we can and kind of just be the top detailer out there.
Yeah, that's good. So what type of detailing, like, is it just inside, outside? Is there like a paint? I mean, I don't know exactly what other services are included with detailing, but can you go more in detail with that? Like, exactly, you know, what type of services are included with your...
No, yeah, definitely. So we basically tackle anything. So we do inside, outside, carpet cleaning, paint correction. So if you have a lot of scratches and swirls, especially from driving like on the freeway, or if you take your car a lot to those automatic car washes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that will definitely scratch your car. So we try to take on everything. I plan on eventually doing like PPF, so like protective film.
Oh, yes, I heard about it.
Yeah, so like those clear bras. So that way when you're driving and a rock tries to hit your car, you know, it doesn't leave a dent or a scratch or anything. So getting into that is probably the next step.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely have more visions for the company. It's kind of going little bit by little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one thing I mentioned from in the first introduction that I did for the podcast is, you know, any money that comes in, just also putting it back. You know?
So especially for the first year, I didn't make any profit because I put everything back into the business. Yeah. So if I made $500, I would invest in either better chemicals or better equipment, because it's difficult to detail a car when you don't have the right things. Yeah. Especially like cleaning a carpet. If you don't have a carpet cleaner, or at least a good one, you're never going to get it clean.
Yeah. And that makes, and I like that too, because, you know, it's a lot of people I've heard is they don't want to start a business because they don't have the money, right? Like, don't have the right equipment. Like, I've heard people want to start a podcast because they don't have the mics and stuff like that. You know, it took me a bit to get all this, you know, and I say that because, like, for you started, and as you're going, you're buying, you know, better. I'm not saying your service wasn't good or anything, you know, because you're still doing all you could with the, you know, the solution equipment you had at that point. But now as you're putting it back, you're getting better equipment. You're able to tackle those things that you couldn't do before, you know?
No, yeah, definitely.
And so it's, for me, it's like, I always tell her, hey, like, just reinvest in your company and get more stuff that you'll feel is needed, and it's gonna better the quality, better everything else that you already been doing on your work.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, when we started out, we necessarily didn't use the best chemicals, especially like some weren't as strong or didn't smell as good as other ones. So reinvesting everything back into the business was definitely a good idea, because at that point we can do everything a lot better for the future of the business. Because if we just stayed the same, I don't think we would have had the same amount of customers as we would have.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like, it's like imagine you're getting all this money, but then you're like, I'll just continue using what I started off with, and then you're just, and so people are like, oh, you know, it kind of keeps looking the same. But now it's like when the first client that, you know, went with you, and all of a sudden they're like, oh man, like all of a sudden now the car smells different. It smells like a lot much better.
Yeah.
You know, this the inside of the car looks more clean or more bright or more, you know, soft or whatever it might be.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's good to know on that, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
What advice would you like to give other entrepreneurs, either small business that have already started or barely in the kind of infancy stage, or entrepreneurs that have that mindset but they don't know like where to start out? Like, what advice would be one thing that you give them?
Honestly, my piece of advice would just to go for it. You know, what's the worst that can happen? Yeah, you start this business and you buy the stuff for it, but you can always sell the equipment or you can use it day to day. That's what my idea was with detailing. Like, yeah, I spent $500-$600 on equipment, but if I don't end up using it to detail cars, I can just use it over the year.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I clean my truck every couple of weeks or so. I mean, in this weather, probably every month or so. But yeah, I mean, I had all the equipment, and if I didn't use it to detail for other people, then I could just use it on myself. Same goes with landscaping. You know, you buy a shovel and all these things. If you don't want to start the business or it doesn't go out the way you want to, you can always just use it yourself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of just go for it. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. It's like getting that away from that fear and thinking like, oh, it's, you know, it doesn't work out. I just lost all that money, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely.
But do you feel, I mean, with being your 1 year, you know, so far, you know, was there at one point where you're like, oh man, I just got to stop, or I mean, I'm not sure if you had that type of like mentality where I just want to like, it's not going as I plan, or it's going as I plan, but it's not moving fast as I want to. Have you ever had like that, like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't continue doing this, or you know what, this is, I know next year is going to be my year type of situation?
No, yeah, there's always those doubts that it's not going to go the way that you expect it to. Especially because, like I said, there's so much competition out there that we have to try to be the best. And with all that, you will have those doubts. Like, okay, what's going on? Like, am I going to be able to do this? Is it even worth it at this point? But you just have to keep going. You know, it's the first year. It's not going to happen overnight. People don't just get famous overnight. Well, I mean, unless you're on TikTok.
But you are on TikTok though, right?
Yeah, I am on TikTok a little bit. Not as good as posting as everybody else, but I'm mainly on Instagram. You know, I try to take the best pictures I can. I'm not a photographer. But I mean, I try my best with everything I do.
Yeah, and it's something like as long as you are somewhere on the social media, that's something, you know, like I tell myself is if you start off on Instagram, right, it's just who follows you kind of will see. And the big thing is hashtags and all that, you know, adding that so other people who are viewing like car detailing in Utah, they see it like, oh, look, this is, you know, Eric's, sorry, your name of your business again?
Steven Huddle.
Steven. I had it and then I totally forgot it. Just went blank. I was gonna say Fabulous Freddy or something. I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they see that and they're like, oh man, like I had this detailing, and all of a sudden, like, oh, it's local, you know, it's Utah, and then they see, oh, it's mobile, you know, and kind of getting that reach and stuff like that.
No, yeah.
And then having Facebook and, you know, people can book, or online website and just stuff like that, you know. So it's just starting off. It's, you know, it's sometimes not easy posting as much content, and I want to be able to use this so that way you know, some like entrepreneurs, small business like you can just go ahead and use this, like be like, hey, like this is my, you know, podcast that I went to, and kind of give you the insights, you know, and then that way you can see, hey, Eric Negrete is he's a human. He's just like us, you know.
Yeah,
He's made mistakes and sometimes he even felt like giving up, but he continued doing it, you know.
Yeah.
So that's good. I was gonna go back to where you said a lot of people don't know, but they feel like when you go to those car washes, like, you know, Quick Crack or whatever it is, you know, their car's clean, but they're also ruining like the paint job.
Yeah, they ruin the paint because, you know, those companies don't really invest into too high of quality things, and that thing's just smacking your car around.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's gonna scratch your paint. You might see like some heavy scratches, some lighter ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially if you have like a dark colored car, like gray, black, those look horrible after a few years of running them through those automatic car washes. So you really have to be careful with that because you don't want to be in a super expensive car like an Audi or anything like that and it just have horrible looking paint. You're just going to ruin it and it's just not going to look as good.
Yeah. So you have a Nissan Altima, don't worry, you can keep waiting. It's like just keep running it through the, you know, but if you have anything like you know, Mustang or anything like that, just make sure you don't do that. And it's funny though, because I was like, when I eventually get my dream car, I'm like, man, I'll probably just do a hand wash myself or even take it with you, you know?
Yeah, no.
Because I feel like it's just like, why would I spend so much money on this car and then just take it to some any car wash to ruin the paint job, you know?
Yeah, for
and
real.
then as I'm looking at videos, it's like, oh yeah, like you can put that where PPF film, you said?
Yeah, the PPF film.
You know, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good because like that'd be right now. Like, I mean, my cars are old and stuff. I feel once I get my dream car, it's like not gonna take care of it. You know, if it would be a truck that I want or something else, but just, you know, put that film.
Yeah.
You know, but do you paint corrections on the? Is that like something that you offer?
Yeah, so we do the paint corrections for those cars with those heavy scratches. It's 50 to 60% correction. So, I mean, it's not like we get everything and make it look brand new, but we definitely try our best to get all the heavy scratches out. Yeah. Or like holographs, anything like that. Because you see a lot of swirls, especially where it's hitting it a lot harder. So you got to be careful with that too. So we try to do all that stuff.
Interesting. Yeah. That's, man, learning a lot. Can you walk us through, like, from, you know, like the whole process, you know, where I don't know what type of license, or is it just like going onto the Utah website or however, but can you walk us through and how you did, you know, like your business, how you were able to open it besides like, getting the products, right? But like, how is it that you were able to now run it? Like, is it like, are you able to walk us through that process?
Yeah, no, definitely. So the first thing I had to do was obviously, you know, get an idea of what I wanted to offer and what I even wanted to do. Because you can't just start a business and not have any clue of what you want to do in the business. So I always liked detailing my car. So I was like, okay, that's a big market, especially for, you know, those higher end cars. Yeah. A lot of people like to take care of their cars. So I was like, let's just go for it. So I started looking up other detailers like on TikTok, Instagram, just doing all that, see what they do, and kind of get a list of products and stuff that I needed to make sure that we're doing a good job, especially for other detailers. You know, there's a lot of good ones out there and a lot of bad ones. So we want to make sure that we don't just follow whatever and just buy like, you know, anything from AutoZone, like Chemical Guys. Some of them are good, but not all of them. Yeah. So we have to get that list, make sure we have the right idea, everything like that, and then we have to obviously register the business with the state, make sure that, you know, we're compliant with everything. Yeah. And then going from there, make sure that we get insurance for any cars, you know, that we might mess up, because something might happen with the paint, the car. What if it's not put in park? We're liable, anything like that.
There's insurance involved?
We have to, man.
Really? I didn't know. See, that's crazy. I thought it was just like you clean cars and that's it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like, okay, yeah. You see it on social media and all this stuff, or like you go to McDonald's and you're like, you don't think of what licenses they need to be running and stuff. But yeah, we need insurance in order to make sure, like, if anything ever happens, that we're insured and we don't have to come out of pocket for that type of stuff.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
So insurance, and then let's say like after you got the insurance, you got the business, you registered, you have all the products now, and then what's after that?
With all that, you know, I started the social media after that. Yeah. So, you know, I started Instagram, started to list our products, so we can actually see like pricing,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to compare.
Oh,
you have to see what other detailers charge in your area, because I don't know if you've seen Sunny. They're a mobile detailer, but they only do it inside. So I would look at like their prices, and they charge like $160 for just the interior.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is where they're at. They're a pretty successful business.
Yeah.
Where can I be at in order to still be at the same area? So with that, I got like a menu to be able to, cater to those people, especially with what they want. Not everybody wants their car detailed inside and outside.
Yeah.
Maybe they just don't want to wash the outside because it's too much of a hassle.
Correct.
Especially like older people that are too busy going to work. And so I have to create that menu, and then from there, kind of market the business. Yeah. Because no one's going to know who I am if I don't go on social media or if I don't post anything like that.
No, that's and that's crazy, because I know there's people starting off, they either try to charge really less, right, to take that competition, to be competition to other ones who already been settled for a bit. Yeah. But it's also hurting, I feel like it hurts that small business owner, because you're like, you might even break even, or you might not even break even at all, because you're like, well, I'm bringing in these clients, so that's fine. But then, and then eventually it's like you have to raise your prices, and you're like, and I feel like, it's, crazy just kind of jumping so far out, but having that, like, if it's like, 160, maybe like 140, yeah, because it's still like reasonable, and you're still detailing. It's not like you're just doing half the work they're doing, or stuff like that. But that's, I feel like that's something many people don't talk about. And it's nothing like you're like copying or stealing someone. It's like you have to compare, and you have to, be able to match it and see how you can do that yourself,
No, yeah, especially you have to put the price of what product and essentially what experience you're putting out there. Yeah. Because I can charge you $200 to detail your car, but then I missing stuff, or it just doesn't come out the quality that you're that you wanted. Yeah. So you have to really match your price to that. And in the beginning, it was kind of a struggle, because you don't know where to price everything. Because I can be like, I charge you $200, but then they're like, oh wow, that's so cheap. And then you kind of think about it like, okay, am I really that cheap, or am I not putting out the product that I'm wanting? Yeah. So you kind of have to take everything into account. Like, if I'm going to charge $300, I have to give a product that is $300. Yeah. So you have to really take everything into account. Yeah, and it's kind of and
I've seen some of those on TikTok, and people who do type of car services or whatever. And then they post in like, some client told me, that was cheap. And you're like, maybe I should raise my prices. But yeah, like I agree what you said. It's like you feel like this is where you're at this moment. Doesn't mean it's, it's not going to change, because like you have, it's your business, and you need to be able to provide for your, yourself, and eventually your own family. So that's pretty awesome.
No. You have to, especially the chemicals are not cheap. So, you have to at least get enough money to buy more chemicals, because if you're out of chemicals, what are you going to do? You can't just use water on everything.
Yeah. I guess not. Yeah. No, that's pretty crazy. What would you feel, what would you think is the most important to remember when running a small business? Like, what do you feel is like, so you have everything right, you got all the business started, but what do you feel is the most important thing, like, I guess, that you could tell people, like, whether it be, hey, don't forget to, like how would you keep a customer? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you keep someone that keep going back to you? Like, what's the most important thing that you can be like, hey, besides my customer service, this is what I do. Like, I might do a follow-up with that, with that client, and be like, hey, it's been like X amount of days, it's been X amount of weeks, months, whatever.
No, yeah, it's definitely following up. And like you said, the customer service is a big one. But other than that, it has to be the experience, Yeah. Because if I detail your car and you have a lot of problem with me, you're not going to want to come back. So if I give you a good experience, good customer service and everything, then I'm basically going to have you as a repeat customer. Yeah. You go to a food place or like a store, and they give you bad service, it's overpriced or anything, you don't want to ever go back. So, we have to be well priced, we have to give a good experience, and as well as give good customer service, because if not, you're never going to want to see me ever again.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, that's good. Man, shoot, like, I'm trying to hold on real quick here. Um, Dude, don't look at me like that, bro. Look away. So leading up to all this, giving Grace great valuable information. Do you know how has it been with competition? Do you feel like it's good? You're doing well. Is there anything that you see for 2023 coming? Like, what's kind of like a challenge, or what's some advantage that you see coming into 2023 with your business?
Yeah, I mean, after seeing the first year, I kind of see, okay, like, this is the successes I had, and this is the mistakes I made. Mm-hmm. With those mistakes, I need to make sure not to do them in 2023.
Yeah.
And what's good is I need to continue to do those and, keep improving, because the business is never going to be perfect. The one thing I want to do in 2023 is obviously more marketing.
Yeah.
So getting more into those TikToks, more into Instagram, those reels, marketing the best way I can. Promoting the website that we have even more, to make it even, and eventually maybe develop an app, so that way you can just log into the app, book something, and then we just come to you.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to worry about keeping your car clean during the summer or even during these months, because, salt gets on your car and it ruins your paint over time. So.
Have you thought about and I'm sure, but have you thought about some type of subscription? Like,
Yeah, I have thought about that, because, I mean, who wants to go to an automatic car wash all the time, once or twice a week? So I thought of a subscription where, you can pay a monthly fee, and at that point we'll come to your house 2 or 3 times a month. And then that way we can, you get like a priority list. So you're the first one to get the booking. Yeah. And that way we come to you, and you don't have to worry about your car ever being dirty again.
Yeah. You heard it first, guys. It's funny because it's like, not that you're not like, when people listen or see this, it's not like you're giving away, other people can copy you, but it's not going to be the same because the price range, whatever it might be, the way it's set up is going to be different from someone that tries to replicate. But I mean, I one thing that I'm noticing is subscription is the thing, right? Like, you have a recurring customer clientele, and now it's just like, now they feel secure, like, oh man, like, I don't have to worry about, like you said, getting the car clean. Yeah. Because it's like, for me, I get a haircut every week. I don't know how often you get yours, but but mine's a subscription, so the people, the company's making money out of me, and they're providing great service. Yeah. And it's just like, well, my company, you see your company like, oh, this is something that kind of entices me, and I want to be able to bring that and make it happen,
Oh yeah, and that's one thing about, like, us as humans, we love convenience. No one wants to really go outside, especially like in 100-degree weather, or even in this weather, below 30, and go outside and clean your car. Especially when you drive it every single day. You don't want to be in there even more, and have to vacuum and bring all that. So that's one thing I want to do, bring that convenience to everybody, for those people, especially mothers that have multiple kids that don't want to go outside to clean their cars. People are working 40 hours a week, and I want to give them one less thing to worry about, instead of having to take it to an automatic car wash where you have to vacuum it yourself either way. So I mean, they take care of the outside, but does it really get it that clean? You have to dry it after anyway. So it's like,
and I hate doing all that, honestly. Detail their own car if they wanted to, but who has that? Sometimes, like, they don't have that time. Yeah, exactly. They have the money, and honestly, like, I've been learning that it's just like the money. It's like, okay, would I rather get it, go drive myself, go over to the car wash. If it's busy day, then I have to wait in line. Yeah. Then I have to interact with someone. It's like, and then all of a sudden I finally get through the line, and I finally get my car. Right now I have to go outside, and this, depending on the weather, whether it be, like, because we can say like, 30 degrees, but it also can be in the summer when it's like 100 degrees, and you're like, man, I don't want to go outside and break a sweat, because you can just do it real quick, but you come back inside and you're already drenched in sweat, and so, like, having that, like, okay, well, I have someone that can just come in and do it, like, and yeah, you're spending that some money, but you're getting that service, and now you're able to do something else with that time, you know?
No, yeah, definitely, and especially because like I said, you have to talk to somebody when
Yeah.
you go to a automatic car wash. They try to sell you on, their membership.
Yeah.
They always try to get you with it no matter what. But especially like if you spill something in your car, you don't want to go out there and, clean it up because you don't want to order a carpet cleaner, and those automatic car washes don't take care of that for you.
Yeah.
You're vacuuming everything by yourself. Some people get too crazy and vomit in their car. We've had to detail cars like that.
No, man, that's nasty.
Yeah, it's nasty, man. No one wants to do that stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just all about convenience, and I hope to kind of take care of that for some people. I mean, it keeps my business alive, and it also saves people a bunch of time for sure.
Yeah. What's talking about throw up and puke and all that? What's a crazy story? What's something crazy you like? I guess you seen in a car when you clean, like. I mean, for me, that's nasty. Like, I'd be like, you know what, person, take back your crying and clean it, you know?
Well, yeah,
Or,
dude, I know when you see chunks and stuff in a car, you're like, yeah, and, maybe detailing's not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some crazy stories, like, people just have random stuff in their cars, man. Like, I detailed a car last weekend, and it had, like, gun shells, or, like, bullet casings, and, like, live rounds in the car,
Yeah.
So I'm like, Jesus, what is this guy?
Yeah.
What is this guy doing in his free time, People have a lot of pet hair in their cars. Yeah, like especially if you have like a white long-haired dog.
Yeah.
Biggest pain ever.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, there's some crazy stuff in some cars. Like I've seen ketchup on ceilings of cars. Just a bunch of stuff, man.
Yeah. And then you look and there's no car seats. You're like, man, this guy's nasty, Because for me, I've used excuse like, oh, you don't have kids and stuff like that. But and I even tell my wife, I'm like, my car used to be clean until she was just like, why are you even care? We have a kid and it's going to get dirty. And that was my turning point where I became nasty in my car. I'm like, you're right,
No, yeah.
Because, and then eventually I'm like, okay, I'm cleaning all the time. I used to hate people eating in my car.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, well, it's a family car, whatever, But I know once I get that dream car, it's like, nah.
It's
so
different.
we'll eat at the restaurant, we'll eat at home or whatever it might be, because it's going to be different. It's going to be something that I'm going to really take care of it and yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, definitely, like, especially having little kids, you probably stop by McDonald's, get, like, little, fries for the kids, and then they end up everywhere, or they get candy, and they unwrap it, and then they don't like it, and they leave it stuck to the carpet. Yeah, it's just stuff you don't want to take care of. So, I mean, that's where we come into that market of parents, where you don't want to detail your car every week. Like, cleaning your house, no one wants to do that every single Sunday. Or whenever you do it, so that's where you hire either a maid or a cleaning service to come take care of it for you.
Funny. Oh man, that's very insightful, dude. And it's I'm actually excited to see how your business evolves. The coming next year, and also years follow, and even something that if they decide, oh, I want to be able to do this and incorporate something else into your business. It's pretty exciting to know. A business is endless, you can kind of go anywhere with it.
No, you really can. And I mean, especially with like detailing, how we eventually go into PPF, I want to do that. There's many other things that we can get into, like, car wrapping. Mm-hmm. People like to change the color of their cars. Yeah. There's like a bunch of stuff we can get into for sure. So, I mean, there's diversity for sure. You can always go anywhere with any type of business. Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of endless in that way. Yeah.
Do you have anything else that you'd like to share with people watching this video or listening to this audio? Is it something? What would you want to leave it off as? The floor pretty much is yours. You can plug whatever your social media. You can kind of say whatever you want. It's gonna be explicit, so you can swear. It doesn't matter. I guess I should have said that in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, we swear a little bit, man, but it's okay.
But what's something? How do you want to leave it off? And kind of like let people know, who are viewing this.
No, yeah, definitely, for sure. Go follow Steven out of Spots, because I mean, you have to go see what product we're putting out there for those customers. I imagine some people are curious as to what the cars look like afterwards. But one thing is like, yeah, just go for it. I mean, there's not really much that anybody can lose in starting a business. Like, yeah, maybe 5 years down the road, it's not the business that you wanted. But, I mean, it's an experience for sure. We're only here once in this life. So, I mean, might as well make the hell of it, Why would you want to be 40 and then be like, oh, 10 years ago I could have started this business and I could have been way more successful than I am now. So, I mean, it's just go for it. things happen. Things can change in 6 months. You can become a millionaire next month. Like, who knows, you know? Especially people like on TikTok, people with like crypto, how everything, you know, anything can happen. So, I mean, just go for it.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I really want to say thank you for coming in and sharing the knowledge and kind of explaining what your business does, the future of it, how people can get started, and just, you know, seeing the different side, you know, because I've known you for a bit now, and kind of good to pick your brain and understand more of you, and you know, something that we can eventually later on collaborate some more and you know, bring you in. I want to also eventually have like a follow up, and you know, maybe by the end of next year, and be like, yo, kind of where are you at now? Yeah. To the beginning of, you know, the year.
Like, we shut down, bro.
Yeah, it's like, bro, it's like it ended. It was horrible. I got sued.
I lost all my money.
I know, lost all my money. So can I stay at your place?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, you know, as a matter of fact, actually, we're not gonna do that follow up anymore. So,
it's probably for the best, bro.
No, but it's good to kind of hear from you. So I really, you know, appreciate your time. Please follow Eric at Steven Auto Body.
Auto Spas.
Auto Spa. Instagram, TikTok. You have Facebook too, right?
Facebook too. Yeah.
And then he also has his website, so he, you know, able to book website appointments through there. And you know, we're gonna be soon. He'll have an app and subscription and all that good stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, so we appreciate it. This is Visions to Ventures episode 1. Of many more to come. Thank you everyone for listening and for viewing this video, and we appreciate it.